Good morning.
Good morning. I
want to welcome you to our Wednesday morning class, coming to you from HeartLight Spiritual Center. We acknowledge you that are here in person. Thank you for coming out. And you that are joining us online, we want to welcome you also. The last several weeks has been basically, if I could put it into one subject title, was some of the things that have been edited out as organized religion showed up, kind of suppressed certain techniques that were self-empowering. The whole agenda that happened in the 4th century around 315 with Constantine was based upon a system of teachings and beliefs that were based on fear. And of course, they understood, as we do today, the best way to control people is fear. So because of that, some of the techniques that were taught by Yeshua, which Jesus, Yeshua, whatever we choose to call it, is a metaphor for the inner teacher in us. Does that feel good to you?
Yes.
So that we don't get into the historical religious figures of these different names. But Jesus is the inner teacher awakening in you. That is the point of where he shows up. And we call that the Christ consciousness. So Christ consciousness is the point in consciousness when consciousness wakes up to be conscious of itself. So when consciousness wakes up and the consciousness awakes with two words, I am. I am. That's where it started. That's why we try to base a lot of what we do here based upon the I am teachings, is because the I am is the center core of our being. When you say I am without putting a label on it or attaching anything to it, there's nowhere to go with it. So if I have you all say right now, I am.
I am.
Now, if I say I am this and I am that, then we travel toward the label. But if we just say I am, then we're kind of quieting the ego mind. And that is when consciousness awakes and becomes conscious of its self. So we could call these the I am secret teachings that have been suppressed. Now, they didn't totally all go away, because there were those in the first 2 centuries that understood what was going to happen. They were very visionary, such as the Essenes and other groups about that time, just right after Yeshua came through with teachings. They understood and saw where this was going. And therefore they left the mainstream and went into hill country and caves and met. And there they wrote down some of the direct teachings that were given before they were reinterpreted. Now, that was hidden for many, almost 1,800 years, until 1945. When you realize in the year 1945, so much happened on this planet. It was a transmission year. World War II stopped. I was born. And then there was that. But really, you read a lot around 1945, 46, and 47. You also had the Dead Sea Scrolls showing up in 47. And then you have the 52 written parchments in 1945 right out of Egypt called the Nag Hammadi. That's the name of a city, by the way, is why they're called the Nag Hammadi, because that's where they were found by a young shepherd boy who was looking around, playing, threw some rocks into a cave and heard a crash. And of course it was the jars that was discovered. These are much more original teachings before It really was almost Christianity before Christianity was. And therefore, all of that was pretty much suppressed by the church until 1945-47. Then we have what we call the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Philip, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of many others that are found, which are direct teachings where everything from that point of 315 was interpreted teachings. In other words, nobody was directly there to hear what was said. They're just handing it down generation to generation. And you all know that what's going to happen with that, something's going to get lost in the translation. I always refer to the old game we used to play when I was young called Gossip, where everybody got in the secret and somebody started a word and then whispered it all around, and it never ended up at all what it started out to be because everybody heard it differently and interpreted it completely differently. And that's called what we've pretty much ended up in what we call traditional Orthodox Christianity, is the interpretations of interpretations of interpretations until interpretations become misinterpretations. And so I want to say to you that are incarnated at this time, and a lot of us in this room have maybe been around since 45 or so, maybe not all, I don't know what your birth dates are, but if you were born around that time, or even after that time in the 50s, it's very important that you understand that your incarnation is strategic. There was no accidents between the two parents that gave you this ability to produce a physical body. Many of us, and this is individual, believe that we chose those two people to come through. That isn't always popular to those who did not have the best experience of having parents that did not work with them. But you've got to realize what you went through with them has helped mold you in some way, maybe with compassion and with understanding that you wouldn't have had if you had not been raised in that particular way. So it was all part of a training for you that will show up as through the law of alchemy, which means that the heavy lead things in your life are transformed into more gold. So I'm telling you, that's why there's a scripture that says, let the weak say they are strong. So sometimes the weakest part of your life that you don't understand is going to end up being the strongest thing that you experienced. Because that's your experience. It may not be my experience, or my experience may not be your experience. So when we're talking about it, we don't have near the frequency match of compassion because one of us didn't go through that. So we're going, oh, bless you. I'm going to pray for you. That I'm sorry you went through that. But I'm really not meeting you where the experience is because I don't have that experience. So people that you draw into your life often are matching frequencies to your story, and you match to their story. And that's why certain people have come into your life that you've been very drawn to, is because of the fact that the two of you share an experience or a vibration in your story that matches each other, and therefore it produces compassion and understanding. Does that make sense to you? Somebody may not know what it is to be a certain race. So how can I really understand what it is to be that race unless I go back into my Akashic records of when I was that race? Now, this is my belief. This is for me. But I believe I've been everything. A balance of male, female. I believe I've been every race that there is. I think I've completed the whole third dimensional story. And that's just something I know. I don't have to prove it. It's a total knowing in me that I know this is my last time in this dimension called 3D because I fulfilled the 3D story. And most likely people who are drawn to me have some kind of a frequency in their story that matches somewhat my story. It may have a different content to it, but we all have something that has drawn us together at this time. Think about it. I mean, you think of HeartLight. It's not like a Baptist church or a church where your parents went to and their parents went to and you just handed down the religion. How in the world did we all find each other? A lot of you here, I found you at Unity of Charlotte. I didn't find you here. Some people I found different parts of the United States traveling and being in a certain place. And maybe 90% of the people I was speaking to didn't get me at all, but maybe one or two people said, oh my God, thank you for that. I needed that. I resonated with that. And I picked up somebody that is still friends to me today. There's people on here probably today that I've known 40 years or more. Because we still hold a vibration and a match that our relationship has continued no matter where we've moved, how far we've gone, where our bodies have ended up. We still hold a matching frequency and vibration in our stories. So I'm trying to get you to see nothing has been an accident in your life. Everything has been a tool that you yourself, I believe, has co-architected that story. Nobody promised you to incarnate on this planet and in this lifetime bliss and paradise. Now, bliss and paradise is in you, but it's not promised to you in your human story. Because this is not a planet of paradise. It's a planet of suffering, pain, wars, injustice. I mean, let's just face it like it is. I'm really getting a little, I don't know what the word I want to say, frustrated with all this new age, new thought teaching that we can always stay in some state of positive bliss 24 hours a day. I don't think you're supposed to. I think you're supposed to experience some of the things that are in the collective experience of the world. So sometimes your pain is not your pain. It's the pain. If you've had pain in your life, then you can connect to the pain that's in the collective. We call that what? Being empathic. How many of you here feel you're a little empathic? Do you take on your surroundings? If somebody has a low vibration or going through depression, you kind of just feel that in you. Well, this is where you have to be careful, because when you do that, the ego says, that's yours. No, it's not yours. You're actually being used as an intercessory to hold a vibration of the pain that's going on in the collective into your pain. But what's unique about you is you know how to change the vibration of the pain in you, which changes the vibration of the pain in the collective. Wake up, folks. And actually, I have a scripture for that in Hebrews. For God has taken from a man, mankind. In other words, out of a people came a people that has been designated. And it goes on and says, how can the ignorant? Now, the word ignorant in the Bible is a horrible translation, but it means the unconscious. The part of us that's not become conscious of. But they've translated the word, I'd have you not to be ignorant, my brethren, and whatever. So we take defense with that word, but it just means unconsciousness. So, for I've taken from among people a people. Now, when I say that, what does that relate to you? And a lot of you know this teachings. If I say there's a people taken out of people, what am I referring to?
144?
You're on the right track. The 144,000 light workers, first fruits, those who have chosen, not been chosen. Huh? That's one of the worst teachings that ever is, that some God out there has a chosen people, meaning everybody else is unchosen.
Right.
No, people who are chosen are people who have chosen. So some of you chose to come and be here for this and to go through all the stuff that you've gone through. But your ego voice is, oh my God, I didn't sign up for this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Now that's the difference in being religious and spiritual. You'll have a hard time staying in the religion of that, but you move into the spirituality of the discernment of that you will see that everything is happening. So anyway, out of a people comes a people means a kind of 100th monkey idea. How many know the 100th monkey idea? Because I don't have to repeat that. I'm glad to do it, but so many monkeys washed sweet potatoes, and the next tribe of the same begin to do the same thing because enough did it that it shifted the whole collective. Well, that's altering. That's why we don't need to be a mega church. There's no reason for HeartLight to be a mega church. We should not be what Elevation is over here with thousands and thousands of people whatsoever. Bless them. That's a need for that. They meet a need apparently of a lot of people, and I think that's fine. But that was not my calling to have and produce a mega church. I was here for the ones who have chosen to be the first fruits to step up and be a people out of a people. To be a spirituality out of religion. A tribe that gave no attendance at the altar, I call it. And Karen mentioned the 144,000. Somebody tell me about that, about the 144,000. Why is that? What does it mean?
Oh, I was just adding up that it's a 9, it's completion. They completed all the cycles that they need to. And if you add that together, it's the number 9.
Exactly. 144,000. You see, the ego counts bodies. So there's actually religions out there that believe that 144,000 people have to make up that. But they don't realize that most of the codings of the Bible is numerical. One out of every verse in the Bible has a number. Or every verse has been numbered. You ever thought about that? Chapters and numbers. There's just numbers everywhere. And you got to follow that because that's the way it goes. So when you use the numerology of 104,000, as Sandra beautifully said, 1 plus 4 is 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 is completion. Now religion teaches 7. So the number 7 in religion, because at that time they believed there was only 7 planets. Well, we know that's not true. So the 7 has a completely different meaning, and misused, it can be a deceptive number, or it can be a good number. There's a dark and light side of all these numbers. But 9 is completion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now if I go to 10, what happens? It's a 1, because 1 plus 0 is 1. So that's a new beginning cycle that happens. So if you're here as a part of the 144,000 vibration, you have finished all your incarnations in this 3D world. That means, that means so much I don't want to get into, I don't have time, but it means why your life has been what it's been. And I have a feeling it's been pretty wild. I don't think probably anybody in this room has had your little average marriage, little house with the picket fence and the 2.5 3-point kids and the station wagon and the whatever. I think we all have quite a story we could tell. And that's all been our training and preparing us for this time that is so near. The teacher said, when you see these things, what was he talking about? Nations rising against nations. Earthquakes where you'd never thought an earthquake would happen. All of these things that are happening, and it's happened before. It happened back in 70 AD when Titus came down upon Jerusalem. Was one of the worst tribulation times. But now it's happening now. And the teacher said, when you see these things, you that understand them, look up, because your day is so close. What was he saying? Look up to a higher vibration and quit trying to fix what's broken in this vibration. So that's why I'm not sure that a lot of praying for people to be well and get healed always happens at this level, because I think that if it happened, we would take it as things are really good. I should just stay where I am. No, we really need some things that keeps us moving, keeps us learning, keeps us open, keeps us moving forward. So that's that. So anyway, I take it from a people of people. How can the ignorant know the way? Now here's the key. Unless they themselves are compassed with such infirmity. Now I have never had an alcohol issue. Don't come from a family. I know no, in my immediate world of growing up dealing with alcoholism. Well, there's other things I could talk about.
Right. We all have our
But I'm just saying, for me, I would not be the one if somebody had that issue of addiction to alcohol. I could give you empathy. I could pray with you. I could listen to you, but I don't have a matching frequency anywhere in my ancestral or personal story that would relate to that experience. But I do have things that would.
Yeah.
And we all do. So just be very aware of people that come into your life and why that they're in there, because there is something in the stories that are matching, that can be a way in which you can transcend to a higher vibration and frequency. I hope some of that makes some sense. That's a lot that we could get into. We didn't. So the thing that we've been dealing with here that we're trying to get to a close, I don't think there's a close to any of this stuff myself, but is the fact that in the Bible, in The Chosen, you that watched The Chosen, Jesus did not stay around with his posse very long. He wasn't with them much. He showed up. When there was something for him to do, he showed up, but he didn't just hang around with them because he was out praying all the time. He separated himself and was doing techniques that he had learned in his young years in the Tibetan monasteries of India. In those 18 years that you know nothing about in the Bible, that is not mentioned, he was learning techniques. He actually was a disguised Buddhist in Jewish clothing. Because when he brought it back, he knew he had to speak to the Jews and the people of his time and the Gentiles of his time. Therefore, he took on the cover of that culture. But really what he was doing was Buddhist type techniques. And that's why there's some of us that still find ourselves drawn to some of the Buddhist, but I don't want to be but I have no desire to be a Buddhist. It's not my label. But there's something about the Buddhist philosophies and teachings that resonate with me. It's somewhere in my story. So some of you all have things you're attracted to. Maybe you're attracted to Course in Miracles. Maybe you're not. Maybe you are more toward, give me something else. It's Kabbalah. Maybe the Kabbalah interests you. Maybe sacred geometry. I mean, there's a whole variety of people in this little group that are attracted to different schools of thought and experiences. We're not all following the very same thing. Right? So, we all have our thing. So the fact that Jesus did this was some information and research that I did on a secret meditation that Jesus did that has been edited out, and we've been talking about it for several weeks. So if you're new today, I suggest you that all of this is online. You can go back and watch any of these weeks that we've been on teaching the secret meditation. So today we're going to try to put some things together. Oh, it's so hard for me to do this and not lay the little bit of the foundation of how this all is coded. But today we're going to focus on the part of the class when you that have been here that came out of where is the true divine book? Where is the book of life? I grew up thinking and taught the Bible was the book. I thought other things were the book. I thought A Course in Miracles might be the book. Kabbalah is the book. Now I've gleaned from all those things, but I didn't find the book. The book. The script. The story of my creation. Not my ancestral story. That's a whole different DNA story. But there is a story you brought in from Creator. You brought in the story of its DNA into your DNA. And just not long ago, did we jump from DNA to epigenetics? What was that about in the last decade or so with Bruce Lipton and others who came along with this idea of saying there is a set of etheric DNA that's above our physical DNA, and our physical DNA is only 50% of the story. The rest is in the epigenetics, which means the choices we make in environment, food we eat, attitudes, all the things that we experience all affects how that arranges itself in our epigenetics. So since things move in threes for me, you got physical, you got etheric, but what's the spiritual? I'm looking for the spiritual, the book of my creation. Why was I created? Why have I been assigned the lifetimes that I have? I want that story. I want to remember it because I've forgotten it. So I've spent practically this entire lifetime, 63 years, trying to do everything I can to see how much of that story I can remember. Everything I've been into, every place I've lived, every group I've been a part of, everything has been my journey. You have a journey. Some of it took you through the Baptist, some of it took you through the Jehovah's Witness, wherever you went has been a part of a journey because you were seeking a place and a frequency that awaken your memory to what in the hell is it all about. And I think that's the deepest yearning of all of us. Why did something that was perfectly and totally all need to create anything? So just imagine you're this thing you call God, some of you. The Creator. Why would you want to create anything? It was the totality of all love. Why would you need something if you're completely, totally love? Okay, Tim, I'll let you answer this. It needed something to love. It's not enough to be love. How many women, men has not come to me, but women have through the years and said, oh, pray for me. I have so much love in me. I want to meet somebody. I have so much love to give somebody. But it wasn't enough to have that love in them. But love, the noun, wanted to become the verb and vibrate towards something that drew it in that's a match. Unfortunately, everything we drew in was not a match. I did well, but I hope, for you that have, so be it. So anyway, here I go again, but I'm laying the foundation. I hope some of that resonates with you. What it does, take it. What it doesn't, contemplate it, and wait and see. But anyway, we're here to remember, that's all. We're not here to learn. Learning is remembering. only what we have forgotten. And that's why you have something called divine mind, Christ consciousness. Call it what you want, but it holds the memory of everything you forgot in the density of a third dimensional soul body. And that's why I say appreciate spaces like this. This is spaces to remember. Now, I got to say this. Wonder if we did the same thing here over and over. Brought in the same teaching, the same level of teaching, the same thing over and over and over again. No, you need the diversity and the variety to see which one of them is going to match the frequency of a memory in you, and it's going to decode it, and you're going to have this, what? Gnosis, a moment. The things that's going to count here at HeartLight on Sundays and Wednesdays is only the things that is a Gnostic experience. It's not getting everything that I'm saying. It's the things that I say that causes direct knowledge in you to wake up and you have a knowing. And sometimes the knowing, the ego takes the knowing and says, but wait a minute, we don't believe that. And that's when this tries to take over and say, but I'm going to get rid of the knowing because it doesn't match my believing. So take the things that witness with you and you get a knowing. And you may get a knowing before you get the understanding of it. See, in the ego's world, it wants you to understand it, know it, and then believe it. So anyway, we talked about that. We talked about the fact of all of the architecture that was done, left codes within us, and the main that we talked about was Solomon's temple. Solomon's temple. And the temple is an important metaphor because the temple speaks of something different than the tabernacle. The tabernacle or the tent is the physical body, but the spirit part of the soul in the higher level is the temple. That's what it means for your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. It didn't say your physical body. It just says your body. But you're a spiritual body before you're a physical body. Okay? So there was something in the temple of the soul that holds important information, and we learned a lot about that, how the stairs went to the right side, which leads us into the right brain and into the pineal gland. Anyway, a lot of good teaching. Some of you have really missed a lot of stuff that wasn't been here Wednesday, but it's online. I really encourage you because these Wednesdays have been a step of evolution for a lot of us. Yeah, there's the temple. See how it goes. Why do the stairs go up the right side? Why? All of that. The whole thing is telling us much about ourselves, our body, mind, spirit, 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold. There's so much in here that could be gotten into. So, here we go. Let's go. We did last week the first exercise, which was complete breathing, it is called. Complete breathing. And we will do that again a little bit later, but we want to do the second part today. This is based upon Revelations 5 and where I found the book. I did find the book. It took me a long time to find the book. I mean, it took from when I started out my journey in 62, I did not find the book until about 89. So all those years, all that preaching, all that traveling, all that studying brought me to the point in which I found the book. Now it began with giving me Exodus 32 and 32, in which Moses is mad at his God. You see, Moses' God's not my God, because that's the God of the Old Testament, and my God. Maybe your God, and so be it until it's not. But his God, he was mad at his God. And he wanted God to do something, and God didn't do it, so Moses was mad. He was complaining, and he gets so mad at this God. He says something interesting that caught my attention. Okay, just take me out of the book in which thou hast written. What book is he talking about? There wasn't a Bible put together at that time, so he couldn't be talking about the Bible. Take me out of the Bible. So there's some book he knew about somewhere that he was could be taken out of. But the real answer came in Revelations 5, and it truly was a revelation. And John was in the Spirit. There's the key. You won't find the book until you get into spirit consciousness. You'll never find it with the intellect. You'll never find it with human knowledge. I don't care how good it is. I don't care how smart you sound and how smart you think you are about a subject. You will never find the script you're looking for and you're incarnated for until you get into a spiritual consciousness. So John is in the Spirit. Now John, for you Unity people, anybody remember what Fillmore said John represented in the 12 powers? Love, thank you. John is love. So all the 12 have different faculties in us. John is love. So love activates itself in the spiritual realm. And when that happened, he said, I saw one sitting on a throne. Now, thrones are a metaphor for power. So he really found his power. Have you found your power? You got to find your power. And sometimes when you find your power, you'll find out it's not very powerful because you've given most of it away. So the next step, you have to just take your power back. And I know some of you have probably been experiencing doing that in this lifetime, of taking your power back from society, government, culture, religion, even family and ancestry. Sometimes you got to take your power back. So when he found his power, there was one sitting upon the throne that had a book written within. And it was written on the back side. Why the back side? Because it's talking about something that goes up the spine. Stairways in the Bible are about the spine. Stairways to the right is how to go up the spine and the chakras on the spine to enter into the most holy place in the midst of the brain, which the pineal gland connects us to, which is a frequency that then connects us to the heart frequency, and that's where heart math comes in, and we start finding ourselves united in heart and mind. And that's why we need to look at HeartLight and get it in here somewhere, somehow. It should be a part of this group and this teaching is the heart math teachings. And it will come when it comes and does that. So that's what we're going to do. We've got some time here to do it, so I want you to get comfortable in your seat. And begin by sitting comfortably with your spine straight as you can, as comfortable as you can. The straight spine creates the proper channel for what the East calls Kundalini energy. Kundalini just means feminine energy that is so held in the density of our first chakra that it has coiled itself 2.5 times and waits for its rise to its consort above the crown. Breathe deeply, and than you usually do. I prefer you breathe in and out of your nose if you can. If you can't, you can breathe in your nose and out your breath. And this time when you breathe in, hold it to the count of 3. And exhale at the count of 6. Again, breathe in, all the way up to the heart, up to the chest. You should feel the breath in your heart. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, and exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I want you to bring your attention to the third eye between the eyebrows. This is the place that Jesus called the single eye. When you focus here, you're activating the command center that controls all the other energy centers. As you remain in this focus, silently repeat a simple sound in your mind, the sound of the Om, just silently to yourself. And feel the vibration of that word. When you practice this later, and I hope you will, you do the Om until finally you fall into the silence of heaven. Now bring your consciousness down to the first center at the base of the spine. The place of feeling of security and groundedness. As you bring your focus here, you might feel a stirring at the bottom of your spine. Maybe it's in a slight movement, a heat or coolness. But as the Kundalini awakens, you may have some sensation. Bring your consciousness to the second center of the lower abdomen, which is the place to increase vitality and creativity. This is the sacral Dantian in the Qigong that we just did earlier. Some of us, and allow the energy to come from the root up to the lowest part of the back, that would be even just under the navel. Bring your consciousness to the third center. The solar plex is at the even with the top of the stomach and in the middle of the back, the mid-back. As the energy comes up to this level, it gives us greater confidence and personal power. Now we go to the fourth center, which is at the heart. The element is air. Place of expanded love and compassion. Feel the energy again coming from the root up through the sacral, into the abdomen, and into the heart. And now we will bring our consciousness to the throat. And the back of the neck. As this energy comes up from the lower chakras, it brings with it a clearer communication and an easier self-expression of the true self of who we are. And now we return to the sixth chakra between the eyes. The element is consciousness. The place in which direct knowledge from spirit can enter in and give us gnosis, epiphanies, aha, I remember. This is the place that Paul was caught up, called the third heaven, a profound state of bliss and unity with all things. This is what Jesus meant by being born again and what Buddha called enlightenment. It is suggested you start practicing this meditation for at least 20 minutes daily if possible. Consistency is more important than duration. And now I want you to look just at the very top of your head if you can. If you want to move out of your body and see your body sitting in that chair.
To a moment of calmness from one a day. That's right, a calming moment from a vitamin brand. Wait, don't zone out yet.
Okay. And now we'll go to the crown, which I see as white light with a little tinge of gold. This is where the connection between the divine and the human is made. The Kabbalah calls it the Kether and the tree of life. The Bible calls it, and we shall wear a crown. All pointing to the same thing. We even refer to that soft place on the baby as crowning. And now return back to the root. Color red. Move your consciousness to sacral. Yellow. Solar plexus, orange and yellow. Heart is green. Throat is blue. And the third eye is a violet, purple color. And all of them make the crown. Now the sounds that I've given you today are solfeggio frequencies and sounds. All of these chakras that's received this new energy will affect certain organs in the body. I'll give you a few examples. Since we started out with the law fork, or the sixth one, this new energy can make a difference in your head, ears, nose, eyes, mouth, brain, pituitary, and pineal glands. It can also vibrate and affect your hypothalamus, nervous system, headaches, eye strain, sinus problems. If you move down to the throat, this new frequency is a 741 and can affect neck and shoulders, thyroid, parathyroid, esophagus, sore throat, stiff neck, and colds. To the heart, 639. Upper arms, lungs, breasts, thymus gland, circulatory system, respiratory, asthma, high blood pressure, heart disease, and lung disease. These are the organs that this particular chakra feeds energetically. The solar plex is the me fork, 528. Affects elbow, stomach, pancreas, spleen, liver, gallbladder, adrenals, digestive, ulcers, diabetes, digestive disorders, and gallstones. We move down to the sacral, color orange, 417. Forearms, kidneys, bladder, pelvic areas, sex glands, reproductive system, impotence, frigidity, bladder, kidney difficulties, stiff lower back. And finally, making our way down where we started to the oot or red. Hands, wrists, rectum, legs, feet, base of spine, adrenals, weight problems, hemorrhoids, constipation, sciatica, degenerative arthritis, and knee problems. So when you're ready to begin to slowly return and come back to this space, I want to say to you, this is not a one-time miraculous magic. But if you will integrate this into your life, into your spiritual time, to activate these energy centers that are connected to all different parts of your body. See, we go toward the part of the body. Like if I had a heart issue, you know, I start looking at heart medicine and heart this and heart that and a heart doctor. That's kind of what we do as humans. But if we would look at the fact of what is that chakra connected to that's causing the heart to respond the way it is. And a lot of layers come into that. Our diet, this is where supplements, the right supplements can have a place. We need help in all these areas. I do. I've taken way too much supplements, for instance. I need to know what's the right one for me. And I think these things are going to show up more for us as we open up to really how to have a life, to live a life. And it means some third dimensional changes of things that we are used to and adapted to, things that we even do that we know is not good for us, but we do it anyway. That's all 3D stuff. So this is a major transition that is going on. Do your breathing. There's nothing new at all about this. This is what I found interesting, that if he was doing this secretly and they wanted to take it out, most of us in this room have been doing it for years at some level. That came into new thought. You know, if you've gone to a Unity Church or a Science of Mind or any metaphysical groups, they do this kind of thing. I just don't think they did it with full understanding of what it's all about until it almost became ritualistic. Meditation in the service should not be a ritual. It should be for an experience. For an experience. We come here on Sunday morning because we want to be retuned for the week. We want to be replenished for what the last week took out of us. We want to put that back in again. We want to clear our minds so that we can make decisions as we move to co-creating our next week. These are experiences that have happened. It will raise our quality of life completely. And I think deep down we all want that. I think we want a better quality of life. But I'm not sure we're always ready to make the changes that need to be done to do that. So it's a timing thing. I think people come to a place sometimes where they really just know it's time to change something. And that way it keeps it out of control. I don't think coming to these things is a control issue. I think it's a nature issue. I think if you get more and more of the attributes of your true nature, you won't want to eat certain things anymore. You'll change sleeping habits. You'll change whatever. You'll just do it. It won't be you'll work hard at it to do it and hate doing it. But it'll just happen as true nature takes over old nature. All right, we got a few minutes. Anybody have anything you want to share or say or ask? Or I just felt I needed to wrap this up. I've been on this for several weeks and I could keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. So I wanted to get to this exercise today. Yes, Karen?
I'm not even sure how to word this, but it seems like I have I'll go along for a while and everything is great in terms of I have wonderful meditations and I'm just really there with God and everything. Then I have another, right now I'm in a time I just can't seem to meditate. It's just, I don't know what's going on, why that's happening. Whether I'm in transition or something, I don't know. But I don't like this. I want a nice, safe, secure
Okay, I think I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it as you're talking. As you was talking, I saw sheet music. And I saw in the sheet music half notes, whole notes, eighth notes, all kinds of notes. And then all of a sudden there was a rest. You that know about music know that there is and there's rests. The reason for the rest to pull you back is to bring you back in fresh. So it does not become ritualistic to you. So there's a time that it pulls away from us to re-enter fresh into it again. And you're in that place, that's Sabbath, seventh day rest period of creation. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. But once in a while, you get those notes and things are going good and the eighth notes are playing and the notes are playing and all of a sudden it's rest. 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 So this is not it's a spiritual thing. Yeah, just go with the rhythm.
It feels right.
Yeah. Because if I was a musician and I was reading sheet music and I decide I don't like rest, so I just keep playing the note, I'd lose the melody, I'd lose the rhythm, I'd lose the whole song would be lost because I didn't keep the rest in there as a part of the music. So there's just times when you don't feel to do something. Don't force yourself to do it. And nothing is wrong. Okay, anybody else have anything you want? Okay,
That was a good meditation.
Oh, that was excellent.
Thank you.
good. I've enjoyed doing this. There's still so much, but we did that. So I don't know what we're going to do next. I really wanted to get into DNA, or we could go with heart math, or we could do something. But I usually take a couple of weeks or so between classes just to do whatever. Usually I go back to Course in Miracles or something in between as an in-between thing to do until we kind of get ready for a newer subject. If you have any subjects that you're interested in, I'm more than glad for you to share it with me, and I will take it to the altar of my higher self and see if it's a timing thing. So don't be offended if I don't, because it just may not be the right thing at the right time. But I do want to hear from you about things that you might find interesting to have a class concerning that. I hear bells. Oh yeah. Good group today. Thank you so much for coming out and being a part. It's good to see you here today. Thank you. If you have something to give, please do so to keep supporting this class so we can continue to keep it going. It's much appreciated. What's going on?
In this moment, here I am in the place I am meant to be. Nothing can hurt me. Nothing